Back in with another Canna Post Daily podcast, and this time we got a special guest with us today. We got Consciously Cam from Consciously Fit Org. He's a fitness coach. He's a U.S. Denver basketball player. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Yeah, so I'm a certified personal trainer. I got my degree in kinesiology from Penn State. And I'm out here right now. I came out to Colorado. I'm from the East Coast. I came out to Colorado basically to try to merge fitness and cannabis and show people that you can be healthy smoking cannabis.
Right, 100%.
And make it a part of your daily routine or however you want to do it. You gotta smoke it. You can eat it, topicals, all that stuff, tinctures.
All right,
There's so many ways to use it.
So what exactly is your experience in the cannabis industry or with cannabis in general?
So in the industry, when I got out here, I first got employed with Good Chemistry.
Yep, that's where I met you. That's what me and you. Yeah,
Yep.
I want to say I started like maybe 6 or 7 months before you came on board on the retail side of things.
Yep, I was there. I got there, I think, that May 2014, May or June, something like that.
Yeah, I think I was there earlier that year.
Yep.
Just in, I was on the back of the
grow.
house. I was
Yeah,
in the
in the
grow
grow,
doing
yep.
trimming, stuff like that, helping harvest, all that nonsense.
Yeah,
But,
like you were saying, like I was in the front end of the house, so I worked my way up as a bud tender. I did that for about a year or so at the Colfax location, and then when they went to open the rec shop, they asked me to help them with that.
Yep.
That went smooth. That was great.
Which, let me just throw that out there. I know exactly. A lot of y'all like Colfax location. That's their first store. That was the dispensary we were working at, first store. And the one that he's talking about now was in Aurora, Colorado. And I actually helped build out that facility as well, or that store or whatever. It was pretty cool. Really a cool experience. But continue what you were saying.
Man, yeah, we put in work on that store. But I helped them open that, and then like kind of helped move me up to they moved me up to assistant manager,
Right.
and so I got more experience like learning about the whole business side of everything and all that stuff. And then in the industry, as you know, if you've been in the industry, this is something it's a lot of turnover in the industry, like a lot. So you talk to anybody that's been in the industry for 5 years, they probably worked at 6 shops. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Like, it got to that point where it was my time to move on or whatever.
Yeah, I was just about to ask that.
Yeah.
So what exactly was it that made you decide that it was time to impact the cannabis industry from a different approach?
So that's the thing, it wasn't even my choice. I wanted to stay there. I wanted to be there, you know what I'm saying? But other people thought that I shouldn't, you know what I'm saying? Other humans thought I shouldn't, but at the same time, I feel like there was a more spiritual thing going on with that too, letting me know, reminding me, because like I said, I came out here to get in the industry to help merge, fitness and cannabis. And at that point, I had just got a job, in a dispensary. I'm working in the store, in front of the house as a manager. I wasn't even really working out like that. I wasn't training at all. I had my certification still. It ended up lapsing maybe the next year or so, maybe 2016, and then I ended up getting it back. I went and took the test and got it back. I let it lapse, but I wasn't training. I was barely working out. I was hooping a little bit, playing some ball, but that was about it. So when I got fired, it was like a wake up call. Dude, you out here for more. You out here for more. This is not. That wasn't what you meant to do. Forever. As a learning experience. But still, I went. I got more jobs in the industry, and
which all of you will. You'll have, you said, you'll have 4 or 5 jobs in the industry before you find one that either works and you stick with, or you kind of come to the conclusion that both of us have come to, where it's I had to impact it from a different approach.
Exactly.
So what ultimately inspired you to create Consciously Fit? I know you were kind of getting into that, but what was that one thing where it just clicked and you were just that's it?
That was a perfect segue because literally the next job I got was at Kind Love. And I was there for a bit, and I it kind of got to the point where I was doing well because I knew how to do every single thing well, because I was assistant manager. I went through everything you could at my first shop. So I was going there just killing everything, doing everything, and they loved me. And then it just got to the point where nothing was happening. I wasn't getting paid more. They were talking, we're gonna move you up and do this, and it wasn't, and I kind of getting sucked back into that again, and then that's when it hit me while I was still there. I was like, all right, I just need to write. I don't know what it was. Like, something just told me to start writing.
Right.
So, swear to God, they had me doing security too, right? Because me and the other big homie, my boy Christian, they had us doing security, and budtending or whatever. So because we, big presence, they needed security. They didn't want to hire another.
Yeah, I know. I was there too.
Yeah, you was there. Shit, you was there too.
Yeah, I was actually at that time I was still budtending, but actually by the time you left, and I kind of like by the end of my little career there, I was
moved up right then.
Yeah,
like when I left, I remember you moved.
Yeah,
up.
But I was pretty much like at a store manager, general manager position or whatever.
Yeah,
by the time,
awesome.
Yeah, but I
yeah.
still left too.
But so when I was doing security there, I would literally go, that little room you walk in the bedside to write?
Mm-hmm.
I would literally sit in there when I could and just write on my phone. I got my little Evernote, little app on my phone. And I would just write. And that's when I came up with Consciously Cam. And I made it like a blog. And I started this little Tumblr, and I didn't know how to use Tumblr.
Right.
And it sucked.
I still don't know how to use Tumblr.
But like, I just needed somewhere to like put it online. So I could be like, yo, go read it if you want to. You know what I'm saying? I would post it on Instagram or whatever.
Yep.
And I made 3 blog posts.
Okay.
First one's called My Purpose. Next one was called The Cannabis Industry. And then the third one, somebody actually hit me up because they started seeing them. They was like, yo, could you write this little blog for us about, using weed and working out? So I did one called The Life of the Healthy Stoner to basically document, like, my journey through, like, finding weed and, like, learning it and, like, having bad experiences and applying it and be like, okay, yeah, I can use this when I play ball. I can use this when I work out. I can use this when I study. I can use this to recover. I know how to use it. You know what I'm saying? At first, when I first started smoking, I'm like, start getting good weed. I'm like, I don't know how to use this shit. I can't do nothing. I can't function. You know what I'm saying? So that was, I wrote those blog posts, and I kind of came up with this whole Consciously Cam thing. Changed the Instagram, everything to Consciously Cam. And then I started talking to my girl. I was like, yeah, I want to start, training. I want to start my own business because, just from that blog, I just started to look into more like Gary Vee type stuff.
Yeah, that's so what I
dog,
Gary
Vee
too.
You already know. I can tell you on that stuff. I can tell by the way you talk. Yeah. But so I was looking at all that stuff, learning about that. My mom was hitting me up about Gary Vee too. So I had all these people talking to me. I'm like, yeah, all right, start this business up. And I kind of like rushed into it, the Consciously Fit thing. But at the same time, I got into it. I was training a lot of people. I was going to their house. They was coming to me. We would sit down and talk and discuss goals and, come up with, I have a little body fat calculator. I would take circumference measurements, all that stuff, And I had some wins and losses with that, working with different clients. Some would stay for a long time. Some would only be there for a little bit. And it was just a lot, you know what I'm saying? Like, it got to the point where it was a lot. And just learning that whole business stuff, like all the back end stuff, and then making sure the marketing is good. Like, it's a lot. I was doing it all on my own. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. That it can become a lot.
Yeah. So
because I do a lot, like all the podcast stuff, my my YouTubes and my other social media presence and stuff. That's all on me.
Yeah.
So I understand the work that goes into like maintaining something like that.
Yeah.
So what is it exactly that you like want to accomplish ultimately, like your end game with Consciously Fit? Like, what is it that you're, you know what I'm saying, ultimately trying to do with it?
Yeah, so right now, like I said, going through all them experiences and learning all these different things, I really know I have that way clearer vision, because back then it was just like, and once I started Consciously Fit, I was leaving a dispensary on a bad note.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like out of necessity. You know what I'm saying? Like, so once I kind of took that out, I got another job. Now I'm doing a couple different things. I took that necessity out. Now it's like, okay, what do I really want to give to people? Because now, at first it was like, I'm trying to make money because I need to pay fucking bills.
Yeah, for sure.
So like, I took that out, and now I'm just looking at it like, what do I need to give? You know what I'm saying? So now I'm looking at it like, I just want to build community where people can see a new perspective on health, fitness, cannabis, spirituality, meditation, all that type stuff, and just learn new things, or just not even learn new things, but like just see different perspectives.
Right. So ultimately being like a resource, if you will, on how to kind of like intertwine, cannabis into everyday lifestyle, whether you're, average Joe, athlete, or health, freak, all the way up to like the crazy health freaks and professional athletes. That stuff I like that, and that's cool, because that's really like, I feel like the pinnacle of what we need now in this situation of cannabis is more resources for information and like reliable information for all sorts of different things, like the small niches, whether it be the health nuts who think that you can't, you know, apply cannabis into a healthy lifestyle, all the way into like the people who, you know, use cannabis for any old reason and have no justification for why. You know, like to give them a source or, you know, resources to kind of go read up and figure out reasons for maybe why they like it or don't like it or whatever. Like, I think that's legitimate. I really like that. So now here we get into like the more interesting part of, I feel like, this whole conversation right here, because you're an athlete, like basically a professional athlete at this point now. You do play for, it's the USA Denver Olympic team, right?
So it's not Olympic team, no.
Okay,
so,
I said that wrong.
Yeah, I'll give you, you're good. USA Denver All-Stars. So I'll give you a quick rundown if you want.
Let's go, yeah.
All right, so my homie, Romello Washington, he started this team, I think when he got out of college at some point around that time. He's in his early 20s right now, and he's the owner of this team. And it's basically just a semi-pro team, so, you know, anybody who loves to play can play. You can get exposure, you know, you play good competition, and, you know, like I said, just exposure and opportunities for people, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I came out here, man, I was hooping out, like I told you, I wasn't hooping that much when I first moved out here. Once I got back into training, you know, I started to play more and whatnot. And I, you know, a friend of mine at the gym happened to see him on Snapchat in this little tournament. I'm like, okay, what is this?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, put me on, dog. Like, I see y'all hooping for real. Like, so, you know, I hit him up when I went to a tryout. That was that. You know what I mean? It was on the team pretty much just like that. And, you know, we play different leagues and stuff right now. But the big thing coming up for us is next year, this WCBA.
Okay.
It's this guy.
For anybody who's not knowledgeable in basketball terms, what is that?
So WCBA is it's a new league that's being started from this guy in the UK. He runs different pro-am tournaments out there for different pro teams. Okay. He wants to start an international league. So it's the World Club Basketball Association, I believe it's going to be called. So as we start next year, it's going to be a bunch of different teams from, you know, around the country, St. Louis, Nevada, Chicago, you know, here, pro teams from here. So, yeah, so next year we'll be traveling a little bit more and doing all that type of stuff, you know. So,
all right, for sure. All right, so now that we've kind of introduced the athlete side of him, I was reading up, like, obviously I went and kind of looked into you and what you were doing and all that stuff, and I noticed that you guys had a sponsorship with a company called Bloom Hemp, which I'm assuming is like a CBD-based company, because I did look into them a little bit, and that seemed to be what the gist of it was just hemp-based CBDs. How was that conversation? Because I'm assuming you just having such an intensive, or a sense, you know what I'm talking about, intensive, there we go, we're just going to use that word, intensive background in cannabis and having a lot of connections in the industry, it was probably you who kind of sparked that conversation, I'm assuming, correct?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So the Bloom Hemp, you said Bloom, right?
Yeah.
So that one, that's me. So I'm like an ambassador for them. So
okay. So
I
that
help
makes
them.
Sense for sure.
I you know, promote for them, and you know, do help them with their marketing and stuff, and you know, photo shoots and stuff like that. And we got some stuff planned that's coming down the road. You know, more informational type things with them as well. But that actually stemmed from the guy that I'm always, if you see my Instagram, all the photos that, you know, look really good, my guy Zach Z Photography.
Shout outs to you. I've seen your photos. Pretty dope.
Yeah. So he plugged me with them. He works with that company. So he does like all the marketing and stuff for them. So like, you know, he hit me up like, dude, let's do this. You know, I was like, it's perfect. You know, we didn't have to even make it a conversation, you know?
That's dope.
So like, yeah, that's that.
So how did you transition that into, from a personal ambassadorship into like a whole team ambassadorship?
So that one is not with the team. That's Lush. So so now this one is that one, honestly, I didn't even know that was like a possibility, but like I just threw it out there because we're getting into this WCBA, right? And it just looks better if everybody has sponsors. They're trying to get a really big sponsor for the league, you know what I'm saying, to help fund it and do all these different things. So like my owner was asking us like, man, do y'all know anybody that, you know, can help sponsor this team or, you know, whatever? I'm like, shoot, you know, I know people in the cannabis industry, so I think it would be cool if we could connect the basketball and the weed. So I threw it out there and it worked.
That's dope.
That's dope. Straight up. So I've been going to Lush for like maybe 3-4 years now.
Right. Which for those who don't know who Lush is, that's a dispensary.
Yeah, Lush Dispensary, down on 2nd Avenue.
I think I've been in there once or twice. It's been a while. The one I go to over off Federal, it's actually up the street, Wolfpack.
Okay. Yeah.
It's right up the street. So I know exactly where it's at. So I've been in there once or twice.
Yeah, it's a bunch of little dispensaries in the cut
right
around there. Like,
yeah,
weird.
they're all dope over there too.
Hell yeah. But yeah, so I've been going there for a couple years, and it's like a little small family-owned dispensary. I've known the owners like since I've been there. They literally in the shop like every day, and it's like something crazy because you don't see that in the industry. You know that,
100%.
right? So that's one of the places that I've always gravitated to because they have that, that vibe, that family atmosphere.
For sure.
They weighing weed out the big jars and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all love when you go in there. So I thought that would be the perfect place to try to connect to this, to the basketball. And as of right now, since we're just a semi-pro team, we don't really have to worry about people looking at us a certain
the crazy
way
backlash,
like that.
Because that was going to be, because I felt like that was like the most interesting part about it when I saw it. It was like, like especially being in this day and age where there's a lot of big conversations, whether it be the NFL, the NBA, NHL. I think has even had conversations about it, but where they're trying to figure out should they and how do they incorporate cannabis into the situation, because there's a lot of players who have kind of spokenly just outright that they are using it. They're not going to stop using it. There's even recently a player, I forgot his name, who just quit.
For the Cowboys.
Yeah, for the Cowboys,
He just quit. He put up the video of him
quit,
smoking. He's like, dog, I can't do this no more, man. I'm out, dog. I'm out. Yeah,
so, I feel like we're at a point now where athletes are speaking out for themselves, too, where they're like, we want alternatives. We don't want the opiates. We don't want all the crazy drugs that are ultimately killing us.
It's crazy.
So,
it's crazy.
What else are you going to do about it? So the conversation is being had. So I felt like it was a very interesting thing that you were kind of like, in your own way trying to make that merger happen. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that's a very vital one. Like, there's so many things that have been released, study-wise that have proven, recovery times are, shorter using cannabis, heal times when you're just talking injuries in general.
All that.
There's so many benefits to it. Even the after, even if you look at Mike Tyson now. Mike Tyson has a whole podcast of him getting high and talking about mental health issues and how you should be smoking cannabis pretty much. Now he uses it to kind of cope with his day-to-day life now after boxing. So, and there's numerous other athletes who've kind of done the same thing and started to invest into their own companies. Some have even started their own companies. There's a lot of actual former Xbox NFL players who have actually really dove in deep into it, and then a lot of NBA as well. Those are the two main sports that you the most impact from those players trying to kind of get involved. So yeah, man, I thought it was just very crazy. So another question for you. So what is it? What does the sponsorship kind of entail? If you don't mind me asking, so do the players kind of get to go and get whatever they want, or is it stipulations on CBD products only? What does that sponsorship look like? Because obviously people are gonna still have their wonders of, are they just a bunch of high players on the court and blah blah blah? What is that? What does that sponsorship kind of entail or look like?
Yeah, so it's super simple. It's literally just they help sponsor the team. They get the team some money. The team does what the team needs to do with the money. Save it or put it towards this or whatever. And I'm actually very excited about this because we're getting, so how the NBA is doing the logos on the jerseys? So we're actually going to have a Lush logo on our jersey.
Oh, that's legit.
That's maybe the thing I'm most excited about when it comes to this whole thing, just because now when we get the pictures, people will see that and maybe they'll ask questions. You know what I'm saying? And then more will hopefully come from that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
sure.
you said, I'm trying to do it in my own way, and I feel like this is a good way.
For sure. Sparking the conversation is always going to be the best way to do it because you get more people talking about it. And then with you also sparking the conversation kind of in a different way, it's not just, should we or should we not? You've kind of already kind of given people a viable thing to see and kind of a relationship to kind of go off of look, we can coexist. We can have a relationship that benefits both sides and isn't just, we're just getting high, and all that, crazy stigma that kind of comes with it.
Yeah, that's why I always try to come correct, make sure I'm on the court. I come correct.
You got to, you know what I'm saying?
I don't want to make weed look bad.
You know what I'm saying? So what do you ultimately think being athlete who uses cannabis and uses it for many different reasons. What do you think what is your prediction, I should say? What is your prediction of the outcome of athletes and cannabis in the future? Like, what do you think this kind of situation will look like in 5 and then 10 years? Let's go with that.
So I feel like, honestly, right now, I feel like athletes, right now, we know what's going on. People are using weed in all these different leagues, in the NFL, NBA. NHL, funny thing, they actually don't test for weed at all.
Okay.
So you can use it as much as you want in the NHL, and they don't even talk about it. Like, I heard somebody say it on ESPN, I think it was Jalen Rose, somebody mentioned it. I also read it in a Dope magazine. That's when I first saw it, because it was an NHL player on the front. And he just said it in the thing, like, I'm like, wow. So, like,
So for all those, you just taught me something, man. I didn't know that right there. Dang, okay. But that makes sense, though. I mean, they shouldn't, though.
They
just saying,
they shouldn't. So we know that people in the NBA and NFL use it. They came out with them little, I don't know if you've seen the Bleacher Reports with them sitting around having a smoke sesh, talking about their experiences, how they use it, when they use it. So we know everybody's using it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The next step
about it.
So exactly. So the next step, the NFL just came out with some studies, or at least they're releasing the fact that they're going to do studies,
right?
Their own studies on weed to see, the effects and all that stuff.
And all that, yeah.
So once those come out, probably a couple, I don't know what he said it's going to be like, but hopefully not too long. The studies could be years. But
yeah, that's why I gave you a 5 and a 10 year span to kind of work with.
5 years, I feel like we'll be, it'll be good to go in 5 years. Every league, I don't think we'll be testing for it in 5 years. Maybe they'll have some type of stipulation where they making sure you're not high before you step on the court. Something like that. I don't know, but I don't know how they could.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's so crazy to say, because like there's even so many studies coming out on just like the idea of how you can test and when you should test. Like, so I was reading an article that said that bodies that get tested after death, so like there was about accidents and stuff and people being high and all that nonsense, but it basically said the longer you wait after a body's decomposing, the more likely that the THC levels will be through the roof. Because so as the body starts to decompose, all your like organs that kind of have
everything's like
all the organs that kind of have massive amounts of THC, your lungs, your liver, those two specifically. Yeah. Like as they start to decompose, they'll just start releasing all the chemicals and all the shit that's in it. It's THC mainly.
Right.
And if you take blood samples, you're gonna get higher counts than what you would have had you just taken it when he died, or right before he died.
Mm-hmm.
So it's crazy. I was like, dang, so that means all these deaths that they were talking about from here to here, let's just say from 2010 to now, that they claim were THC related, could all be false.
Right.
100% false, because those blood tests don't happen at the right times. You know what I'm saying?
Man, it's all about the details and the studies, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. And I'm just kind of talking about what you were going with, like, how would you know? You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of people who are functioning users,
right?
And you would never know, unless like their eyes would give it off. But once you kind of build such a tolerance where you can smoke 2-3 blunts, that doesn't even really change so much. You can't really even use the eyes as like a way to tell or judge. So,
right. And that's the thing, you gotta be experiencing all these things. You gotta be been through stuff, smoking weed. Sure. I know. A lot of y'all know. A lot of people don't know. And they're afraid. Like, I remember when I just think about when I first started smoking weed, like, I would just smoke one joint, one blunt, whatever.
I remember just taking 2 or 3 hits and being like,
like, dog,
freaking out, like, man.
It's like, how are you functioning? Like, my pothead friends, like, how are you functioning on this, dog? Like, how are you normal? Like, I feel like, not crazy, but like, I feel like
out of my body.
Oh my God. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then it got to the point where it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I get it now. I get it. I'm cool.
Build
I can
that
do
tolerance up.
Yeah, exactly. Freaking Chauncey Billups.
Yeah, he's another one. Yeah,
Park Hill.
Yeah, went to George Washington.
Yep.
Actually, I went there.
He had a quote saying that he wanted Rasheed Wallace to smoke before every game because that made him play better. It made him, he was him on that, when he smoked. He said, I wanted him to smoke before he played. Like,
hey, I'm just saying, if people knew how much I've accomplished being high, like every day, every day, you would understand. Every day.
Exactly.
But, so kind of coming to like the conclusion of this, what would be your one piece of advice if somebody was trying to incorporate cannabis into an active sports or healthy lifestyle? what would that be like? What would be like that one ultimate piece of advice to kind of like just, I don't know, help give someone that need to try it, if you will, you know, the ones that are kind of like already borderline but kind of scared, but just need that extra little kick in the butt.
So for me, like when it comes down to it, I'm like a scientist. You know, my background is like in science and stuff. So like I'm into like experiments. You know what I mean? You got to think of like if you're experimenting, if you're going out there trying cannabis, it's an experiment. If you've never done it before, or you know, you've done it before, you're trying to learn more and you're trying to delve into it. You know, think of it as an experiment. So you know, you're going to have some trials where it's like, yeah. You're going to have some trials where it's like, oh, nah, I don't like that. So just, you know, you just got to take that in and remember that before you go into it. Like, you know, and then, you know, ask questions too. You know, go in the dispensary. You know, look up a good dispensary. I recommend if you have a medical card, Lush, go in there. Those are my people. They'll take care of you. So go in a reputable dispensary and ask questions and just be open-minded. Because, like, a lot of the bud tenders, if they're a good bud tender, they will be happy to just tell you everything they know and give you the rundown and make sure you feel comfortable going out of there, you know, with whatever product you get.
For sure.
And then the biggest thing I would just recommend for anybody working out is topicals. So I just, in terms of recovery and stuff.
Yeah, and for anybody who doesn't know what topicals are going to be like your lotions, you know, your spray-ons that you can, you know, spray on
different
and kind
salts
of
and stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Yep.
Those are going to be your topicals, and it's going to help with, like, you know, joint recovery, muscle recovery, all that good stuff. And it's nothing that you have to actually ingest. Hence the word topicals.
Yeah, and they don't get you high.
So yeah,
you know, no like cerebral effect from them.
Yeah,
it's just the thing. Like, you know, I feel like a lot of people that, you know, it's like, oh, I work out, but I don't, you know, feel a certain way. You know, maybe you just don't know yet. But
you don't know.
You know
That's almost you just don't know.
But you know, regardless, I like to use them just to get that recovery, like you were saying. Like, it just helps so much. I've never experienced such a recovery or such a difference, you know, in pain.
Imagine icy hot without the fucking nasty smell and, you know, all the weird oiliness. Unless you get one of those weird salts or something that tends to be kind of oily, because there are some companies that don't make them. Yeah. That's good. Throw it out there. Not all companies are created equal.
Yeah,
let's just keep that real.
Reputable spot. Definitely.
Yeah, and to kind of elaborate too on that, because I used to bud tend just like he did and run stores, so I used to get a lot of, like, you know, really interesting questions. And one of, like, my best things to kind of just elaborate on what he said was kind of exactly what he said. But I would say is start a weed journal or cannabis journal, whatever you want to call it. And I would just give you, say, literally at the top, put, you know, strain, name, or strain as far as like what the name is, indica, sativa, hybrid, all that nonsense. You know, start, middle, end, so you can give yourself little brief descriptions of how the high started, how it was, you know, once you kind of hit your climax, and how it was when it was coming down. And then even just any other little notes that you specifically kind of wanted to kind of make note of, do it. Like, I think people are too afraid to experiment, and especially with something like cannabis where it's not one size fits all, you almost have to, because there's not enough scientists in the world, I feel like, that could all work and research cannabis at the same time to actually make you, like, a very personal, like, oh my god, this is what
the perfect one for
you,
you
know, because we're all so chemically different, all the strains are so chemically different, like, you know, it's not a one size fits all. You got to just experiment until you find what works for you, and like he said, you're gonna have experiences that you don't like, so but hey, you won't know which ones are good if you don't have some that aren't bad. So just saying, throwing it out there. But yeah, man, I appreciate you, man. It was really good having you out here, Cam.
It was a pleasure, man. Appreciate it, dog.
If you guys want to kind of connect more with Consciously Cam, go check him out on Instagram and Facebook. Those are two you're most active on, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, go check him out on those.
Consciously Cam.
Yeah, Consciously Cam. Just put that in on any of those, and it'll pop up. Or if you even just Google Cameron Nedd, I want to say when I did that, his Consciously Fit stuff pops up actually as well there too. And if you, hit him up. If you have any questions about, you know, cannabis and fitness, cannabis and health in general, like, that's your guy right there. It's what he lives for. And if you want to reach me for any of the other cannabis-related questions, because if it's health-related, I'm probably going to refer you to him anyway. So I'm just saying, you might as well save yourself that step. But if it's anything else, hit me up at My High Floating on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. And yeah, if you want to check out more podcasts, more just little talks that we have, and just stay up to date with Cannabis Daily. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, Podbean, and YouTube as well, all at Cannabis Daily. And from there, I will see you guys next week, man. You always remember to live your life high, honest, intelligent, genuine, and humble, because it's a lifestyle, not just a way of, not just getting high, it's a lifestyle.
That's right.
And I'll see you guys later, man. Peace.